Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. So since the last episode, it has not been very much time at all. It's still October 2nd. I got those ingots poured out, and then I was like, well, I'm going to pop over here to Copper Mountain and start mining, basically right on top of where we took the prospect. I dug down just a little ways. I ended up popping up. I was mining quartz while my temporal stability got up. But I just wanted to show you guys, I came right down here. But right down here, there is a copper vein, which I've already mined out 50 and got a sample for us. But I've still got, I'm going to bet, quite a bit more to go. So, see, I like barely even had to try in Copper Mountain. It's just like, there's copper all over the place here. Okay, I got over 2 stacks. I'm going to pop back up. I mean, my temporal stability is not great right now, and also, like I said, I need to get those ingots going again, because I really need to keep those going, because we are going to need those. But yeah, I'm going to pop back over. I'm going to run another, like, 14 ingots, because those ones should be cooled off by this point. I'm going to go ahead and shred a temporal gear too. I've got a bunch of them, so not that worried about temporal gears. Let me go ahead and get another 14 units of copper going. And I'm going to start doing a bunch of smithing. The very first thing I'm going to need, let's see, I'm going to want 15, yeah, 15 copper plates for what I want to do. First and foremost, we're about to spend some materials today. It's going to be great. Okay, this is the last one from the first batch, and then that'll get us to 7, which is just shy of halfway through our plates. And our other copper should be cooled. I'm going to run around the farm real quick, and I need to get my temporal stability up. I don't know if I want to shred another gear or what, but at this point we really can't make too many copper ingots because we're going to need them. And 6 brown coal seems to be enough to do this, to do 14 ingots, so I should be able to just go straight through and do the next 8 plates pretty easily. Okay, this is actually the very last plate of the 15 that we need. Now you'll notice that I've taken shelter inside of here to do my actual smithing. I was getting pelted by rocks, like something awful. It's high rift activity tonight. Well, now it's calm, but it was high. And there are drifters literally everywhere. Now, I did go ahead and I ran another batch of copper. I put these trap doors up trying to get the rocks stop hitting me, but didn't really work out. Did not work out. There's just too many of them. So we got 26 copper ingots. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but that's at least going to be a start at the very least. And it's funny because the thatched roof that we put on last episode, that was the first thatched roof within the series that I was able to put on without having to farm grass at all. Because I actually have a lot of dried grass stocked up. I had more, of course, last episode, but... Okay, so let's pop back over. Let's go ahead and load this back up. Drifters seem to be gone now, so... I don't know... Should we do 4? No, let's just do 2 at a time, I think. That should be sufficient. Because I don't think we're going to be faster than that. But we're going to get these fired up real quick. And like I said, I probably will end up needing more copper than this, but... And of course, these copper plates would be a whole lot easier if we had the Helve Hammer, but we don't have that set up just yet. So, I'll go ahead and grab one of those out. And we're going to start making chute sections. But luckily, chute sections are one of the easiest things in the game to smith, in my opinion. They are super, super easy. Alright, I'm on to the very last one. Hasn't taken all that long, really. Quicker than the plates, I would say. Because these are just, they're so fast to smith out that it doesn't take all that long, really. Okay, so we have 26 chute sections. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to have to do a little bit of gear organizing at this point. I actually might just remove this whole section that I chiseled. Wait a second, that would be... That's the side where the door comes in. No, we'll remove this section here instead. So let's go ahead and just cut that off for now. And actually put up my axle. That's fine. Let's go ahead and take these. We'll go ahead and get these out of our inventory at the very, very least. So what we're going to be making is we're going to make 5 hoppers. And we're just going to put these in right here. And if you're not familiar with the way that the quern works, if it processes an item and this is filled, it'll basically just dump the item to one of its, one of the cardinal directions. So we're going to have hoppers on all sides. Now, if you try to block off a side, what happens is whenever it runs, it can't throw it out. It has a 25% chance of selecting whatever section, whatever cardinal direction. So if it can't throw the item out, it just resets the timer. And it runs again until it can finally throw it out. So ideally, you don't want to block up any of the sides of the quern, since it will just kind of stop it up, and it'll just take longer. And especially with us not having a whole lot of wind here, we definitely don't want to do that. We want every run that it makes to count. So I'm going to go ahead and just shred a gear at this point, because I've got a bunch of them. I've almost got a chest filled. And then let's go ahead, that was close, there we go. Let's go ahead and get 3 of these. I think that's going to be enough, but if not, I've got plenty of resin, so. And let's head back over, because we're going to, at this point, we're going to change up the direction of our axles just a little bit, so they come in from the bottom instead of the top. And so what we're going to do, let's go ahead, chop off that. And let's go ahead and chop that one off as well. And this one also. So we're going to make sure that that connects. Grab our angled gear. Put that there. And of course all this will be... Well, it may not stay walnut. I might change that. We'll see. But we're going to put that in right there. We'll just do angled gear. Set that up. There we go. And we'll just run this down. And now we can move down to the lower floor. And I'll have to break the quern here in just a moment. But let's see, this will come down. So we're going to bring that to right there. Yeah, this actually worked out pretty well. I just have that one walnut plank that's kind of awkward, but it's not a big deal. And then we're going to bring this over. I'm going to need one more angled gear. Okay. And let's set that there for right now. I'll have to change that to something else. I've just got to figure out what. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put our angled gear in right there. Let's remove this. And we're just going to basically bring it up right underneath the quern. Now, the quern's going to fall right there. That's fine. Let's go ahead and remove that. We're going to come back upstairs. Put in an axle there and our quern there. So it'll be able to work again. Of course, right now I don't think we have any wind, but that's fine. And then what we can do is just put our hopper onto the top of that. And so then we can come up and we can dump things into the hopper, and they're going to feed directly into the quern. That way we can kind of stockpile it a little bit. And then as it runs, it's going to throw things into these hoppers. Now what we're going to do, let's grab... Okay, it looks like it's starting to run. That's great. Let's grab something. A stick. We'll just toss a stick in here. We're going to put this in the output slot, which basically blocks it up. Which means everything that this... Wow, we must be running fast right now. But it means that everything that this processes will immediately get thrown out. And, of course, collected by those hoppers. Now, right now, those hoppers just dump onto the ground. So what we're going to do is let's get ourselves... we're going to want 4 elbow shoots. Yeah. 4 elbow shoots. And then let's also get 2 3-way shoots. These are right here. And we'll go ahead and set these up real quick. Let's go... Sometimes placing these is a little bit awkward. No, we want to go other way around. And that. That. This is what I mean. Sometimes... There we go. It takes a little finagling. And there we go. So these are both going to feed down. So now if these 2 hoppers get something, it feeds down to here. These 2 hoppers get something, it feeds down to there. And then what we're going to do... we're not going to have enough chute sections for this, really. But let's go ahead and get ourselves 2 more elbow shoots at this point. We're going to have 1 facing in this direction, 1 facing in this direction. And then we're going to get ourselves a couple straight shoots. Put 1 there, 1 there. And then we're going to get a drifter. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves another 3-way chute. Luckily, this is the last special chute we've got, so... There we go. It's like, I think it has to do with an exact spot on the block, but I've never been able to really figure out, like, pinpoint exactly where that is. Okay. So now at this point, we're going to dig that down just a little bit. Fill that in. And then I'm going to have to go mine more copper in just a moment, I guess. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to need at least 7. That's bare minimum. This is a very expensive investment, but it will be worth it. Okay, I just got out of the mine. I got most of the copper that was readily available down there. But I think there's probably still more. I just need to dig around a little bit. But we're going to get ourselves plenty to do another 14. We won't need 14, but I'm going to go ahead and cook up 14. November. It didn't start snowing last year, so like the end of November, I think. I think we'll be fine. I haven't checked my bees in a bit. That's okay. I still got a lot of honeycomb. Looks like they're all filled. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love it. It's not great looking at the moment, but that'll be a next year project. We won't have time this year at all. But we should still have time to get our chickens in a pen. It's only taken me all year to get around to it. But, okay, so now at this point, part of this is going to get removed. This will get brought out. Because there's going to be an attachment that comes off this. We'll add that. It's not a rush. Let's come down right here. Let's go ahead and open this up just slightly. Let's go ahead and put in a storage vessel here. Grain is 0.16. It's not terrible. We're going to make it a little bit better, though. Okay, there we go. We'll open this up a little bit, and let's actually back this off just a tad bit. Which right now I know there's like water. Yeah, right there. It won't be long term. I can actually go ahead and block off a little bit of this. Because this cairn primarily long term, once we have more cairns and we're actually set up in our base, this one's really just going to be for grinding up flour, is all it's going to be for. So, no K-Pox, but look at that. It's so nice. It's so, like, uniform and pretty. Yeah, see, this one overhangs a little bit, but it's not really going to be an issue for us. The K-Pox has a slightly smaller size than the oak, and it's not going to be an issue. Let's see, grain is 0.16. which we're probably not gonna get really great stats on the storage vessels right now until we get that place really closed up, because there's still a lot of like natural light coming in, which isn't good, but it's not really gonna matter for us. Let me look at what ours are down here. See, for grain it's 0.15. Actually, that's not bad on the grain stats. Even without everything blocked off, that's really not bad. Okay, so let's pop over, see how this is doing. Alright, we still got just a little bit of time on it. And then I still got to pour it and hammer it out. Oh, I love how dense these trees are through here. Like, it's so nice. Not to mention it's like rain shelter. 120%. Look at that. So much better. Okay, there's our liquid copper. Okay, I went ahead and made 2 extra. Well, 2 extra after this one's done. 2 extra chute sections, and that's just in case I end up needing them. You know, in case I decide I want to move the storage vessel, or maybe if I miscounted, I don't know. I'm just going to pop a temporal gear. I know that's like, seems expensive, but I have so many of the things right now. Like, more than I'll be able to use for a while. You know, because our spawn point's set and we're happy with it. And let's go ahead and bring this down to there. Okay, so now every time something goes into the hoppers, it's going to fall down to the storage vessel. Now let's go get ourselves, I mean, that's pretty much it. We just need those chutes to run it the rest of the way down. Let's go get ourselves some grain. Actually, it won't be long before it'll be time to put on the winter clothes. Alright, so how's this? Of course, we get over here about the time the wind stops. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's go ahead, throw that in. That. Oh, whoops. Let's go ahead and throw that in. That in. That in. And you can hear it. It basically makes that sound as things are falling down the hopper. Now, I guess right now, the storm's still going, but the wind has stopped, which is unfortunate. Now, probably the best thing to do would be wait until the wind's actually going to throw the stuff in there, but honestly, it should kick on, and we're going to be busy for a minute because we're going to be working on the chicken coop. So I'm just going to let it hang out. The wind should pick back up any second now, and then it'll start producing flour for us. So, and I'll tell you what, just so it's a little bit easier for me to tell at a glance when it's night, if we have wind, just in case I'm curious, I'm going to set a torch up. I mean a lantern up, and this will just be temporary, but I've got one to spare. I don't think I can actually, no, I can't hang it there, but put it right here and we can see it. That's great. Okay, so it is currently about to be October 6th. We are running behind this year, and I still don't feel like I mean, I feel like I got quite a bit done, you know, but I don't feel like I got as much done as I would have hoped. But I did spend like a month and a half chiseling, so it happens. But yeah, now we can see way over there if the wind's going or not. That's great. Okay, I just want to show you guys the windmill's running right now. It just started back up. I was cutting wood, getting sticks, basically just these first few trees, these oak trees. So as you can see, oak puts on a ton of wood. Plus we got a lot of acorns. We can see that our cairn's running. It's ran through a little bit of rye so far, and if we go down, we should see that that rye has been safely deposited into our storage vessel. There we go, and it's fresh for 5.3 years. Because see, if we left this, like say in a chest just up there, we would have to kind of monitor it because it's only fresh for 1.7 years. Still good, but putting it down here, we don't have to worry about it anytime soon. You know, we could come back next year and it's still going to be sitting here. It's still going to be fine. We're still going to have plenty of time to use it. So that way we just kind of deposit it into a cellar, and then we can add come the next year, we can add like an extension, maybe for like bread making. But maybe have an extension kind of come out. It doesn't have to be really, really big, but just kind of like a bread making, like a dedicated bread making area. I think it'll be kind of nice. So that way, I mean, I know we don't have the best wind, but when we do have wind, we'll try to keep an eye on it, throw a few stacks of grain in there. I have a literal ton of grain. But anyways, I've been gathering up a bunch of oak. I know we're going to need sticks, I think. And getting ready to do these chickens. Alright, I spent a little bit of time in my test world and also in like my non-recording world looking at my chickens because I haven't had any die, so I was double checking my setup over there. Let me go ahead. We're going to be mainly building this building out of oak and kapok, which we only have the 7 kapok logs, so I'll have to kind of pick and choose. Maybe a little bit at first. Let me get oak, because I mainly want this to be made out of wood, you know. Now these chickens, they're fine. I'm going to be upsetting her a little bit today, but that should be okay. Don't even think about trying to get out of this right now. We'll go ahead and cut this. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have made wooden fences because I've got a bunch here because these are all oak. I didn't think about that, but okay, so they are 3 wide, yeah, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 and put logs back here. And I spent a little bit of time debating, like, do I want to do a more modern chicken coop? Do I want to make a really kind of ramshackly sort of chicken coop? You know, it took me a little bit to figure out exactly how I wanted to do that. This hen box is going to be right in the way. But I can't remove it. This should be our generation... Yeah, this is going to be our generation 3 babies. So, alright, let's go ahead and bring this up. We'll say like 4, I think. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves a bunch of stairs. Probably more than what we need, but that's okay. No, I don't need these. I really want kapok here. Now, of course, most of the chicken area is going to be fences. You know, fenced-in yard type area. But I do want a nice chicken coop for our chickens to go into during the night and stuff. As well as kind of a centralized place for them to lay their eggs. So let's go ahead. We're just going to run our kapok around like so. And of course, we're going to be using the rough-hewn fences. Once again, I just love the way they look. I think these are just kind of... We're going to be using some of these as well, but we're primarily going to be using the rough-hewn. Which we're going to do a little bit of chisel work on this here shortly. But let's go ahead now, take our rough-hewn, go ahead and get the base of this, and then we can work on the inside. We'll go ahead and just cut that back. I'm actually just going to run rough-hewn along the bottom. Like this. We can leave the grass inside. That is not a problem. So, just like that. We're going to do the same on the other side real quick. And we'll be able to lose our double fences at long last. No, you need to go elsewhere. Go that way. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of oak slabs. Just a lot of different oak parts today. We're going to run our oak slabs along the edge of this. But yeah, I was debating, like, it's like, do I want a modern coop? Do I want some kind of weird design coop? You know, what do I want? And I think I settled on this. I think it's going to be nice once we get it all in. And then let's go ahead and run out these fences. Alright, now at this point what we're going to do, let's go get some thatch, because we're going to have a thatched roof on this, of course. I was really considering doing a different kind of roof. I almost considered fire clay, but then I was like, you know, thatch just makes more sense. I was wanting to kind of get away from thatch roofs, because we have so many thatch roofs, but it's, before long we'll have a lot more, like, other other types of roofing, so I never put my thatch blocks back. Yeah, this is probably no. It's not a big roof, so this should be sufficient. Now I should still have plenty of. Actually, I'm gonna wait to put that one in. I should still have plenty of dried grass for winter, I think. And there. Okay. Now for this very, very top, instead of doing the ridge, I don't even know why I grabbed those out. What we're going to do instead... Oh, I didn't bring them. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 2 layers of sticks. That way, we've got a little bit of natural light. I don't know if it's ever been changed. I know a long while back, at least, animals would despawn if they weren't getting natural light. I'm not sure if that has changed, but I still like to make sure they've got natural light. Now, granted, these will not despawn because they just walk out to the yard and they'll have natural light, you know? But just to be on the safe side, we're going to do that. Alright, now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and remove this outer fence. And then at this point, we can run our actual fence, which of course is going to be our rough hewn. And it's actually going to plug in right here. And basically, it's just going to go around like so. So, look at that. You got a pin extension. What do you know? And this is not going to be a double gate or a double fence, which I know that tends to be highly suggested. But like I said, in my like non-recording world, which I've had for a while, my chickens don't have any problem with the snow and wolves. But there is a very important thing that I didn't think about whenever I set up my chickens in this world. There's a very key reason as to why my chickens don't have any trouble with wolves during the wintertime. Now, of course, there's other ways that you can set up your chicken coop. I know some people like to dig it down and put it down into the ground, and then block off the edges with walls and fences and all that, or fully enclose them. Let's go ahead and finish up this, and then we'll talk about that in just a moment. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna chisel this, and we're gonna wait to add some fences on the side until after we chisel, because I don't want them to connect to this. Let's go ahead. We're gonna cut this away. And then we're actually going to come through with the 4x4 and cleave off a bit of this. Just like that. And the nice thing is, we're going to end up with a chicken coop that's fairly quick to put together. You know, because we've got most of it already up. Fairly quick to put together, and it's going to keep our chickens nice and happy, I think. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side, of course. So give me just a second. I've got to do all 4 sides. Now, at this point, what I want to do... can I don't think I can make that jump. I can do that. Okay, so what do we need for packed dirt? Okay, perfect. This would be kind of like, you know, the trodden dirt and hay and stuff like that would be in the pen, especially where they spend a lot of time. And then let's take... I've ran the... Well, yeah, I'm not going to have enough K-Pock to do it in K-Pock. I might do a different wood type up there, though. But let's go ahead now that we've got that in. Let's go ahead and put in a set of stairs. And we're actually going to be chiseling these. And I might need one right there, actually. Well, no, I think every two pixels actually should be fine. Might even smooth those edges so it's not so stair-like and more ramp-like. I think it'll be alright. But I probably will need to put one on the bottom. We need little stairs for little feet. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut away quite a bit of this just to make it more like, you know, kind of like one of the board ramps that you tend to see leading up to coops. Make it more like that. I'm gonna put in yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna use much of this. Cut away like all of that. Oh my gosh, leave me alone. You guys have a serious problem. What's our rift activity is medium right now, so seems like I've got quite a few around here. It's not. Oh, it's midnight. Quit cock-a-doodle-doing. Yeah, that angle's good. I was worried about it being too steep, but I think once we smooth this, I think it's going to feel pretty natural. Because I feel like if I brought it out any further, it would just feel like long for no real reason. I think that's actually a pretty good angle. And on the plus side, this is another unstable area. So my chickens can enjoy the fun, too, of living in an unstable space. After we finish up the chicken coop, we are going to be setting up for winter, like starting next episode. Which really, I mean, it's not much setup, necessarily, but we are going to be basically moving over to our winter location for this winter. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take some oak stairs, put these in right here, and we are going to be chiseling these. And we're going to chisel some more on the other side too. But I'll tell you what, while I'm doing it, I'm going to go ahead and just do the other ones too. Okay, so we're just going to get our shelves built out like that. I think this is 4 wide. I think that's good. So they're at least kind of sturdy looking. Then let's go ahead, drop in that. And then right here, this is going to be easier for me to chisel. Probably right here. Let me just cut away the bottom of this a little bit. Okay, I basically just want to chisel a little bottom to it. And let's go ahead and just cut that away. We're basically going to make them some little stairs here, so it's a little bit easier for them to get up to these shelves. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this back. Yeah, I think that should be good. That way we have a little bit more space in here, because it was a little bit cramped with only one block. Then we'll go ahead and give them little stairs. That way they can easily access this. Just climb up that. Okay, now at this point I've got to go deal with my instability. We're getting there though. Go ahead and bring these down. That way they don't connect to this or to that. I feel like I might want to bring the roof on the front out just a little bit. Like one extra layer. And have that overhang and then bring out some supports. Because I feel like the front needs a little something. So I might do that here momentarily. But yeah, this area up here is, as you can see, a bit more stable. We'll have to wait to see once we tap into the mountain. Oh yeah, that's where I dug. And I was like, no, this isn't far enough. And so I dug over here. But this area is substantially more stable by comparison. You can see right here, very, very stable. Honestly, while I'm waiting for stability, this is actually a really good project to do. I didn't think it would be this cold up here, but it is pretty... Oh, that's so cool. Once we open this up, I think it's going to be so nice. So, so nice. And see, what my plan is for... I'll go ahead and tell you, my plan is for our windmills for this area to actually have them like come out and just be like up here spinning, you know, and around in here. So I think that'll be a bit of fun. It's like I said, it's not going to be like a windmill structure. It's just going to be windmills that are kind of like hanging in that ravine area. There's just something about heights in vintage story that just look good, you know. Oh, my cattails. I'll be able to get them once more probably this year. Like Minecraft heights don't really look that great, I don't think, but I love them in Vintage Story. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to bring the roof out. I'm going to cut and do that. And I got to get a couple things together so that we can make this wolf-proof, I think, during the winter. Because there's one common factor as to why... Really? I have a raccoon. I haven't seen one in my base in so long. Run, little raccoon. But I think there's one factor that's really different in the way I have my chickens set up in my non-recording world as opposed to this world. But look at that, we have flour, free flour, and of course we could do the same thing with like our chalk and stuff to make our leatherworking a whole lot easier. Yeah, that's already done. Is that all the, I mean, it shouldn't have dropped any. Let me check my... Tube comes out. Tube comes out. These are all transporting nothing. Okay, I think I figured out the issue. What's happening is whenever we are not near it, it seems like it's causing it. Because, like, I ran a stack of flax and got flax grain, you know. Got 100% of it. But it seems like maybe whenever... Most things in Vintage Story don't really require chunk loading because they run on, like, a time system. However, I think... The quern, I've never really noticed it. I've never really given it much thought. But the quern seems to just be losing the items when we're not nearby. So it's going to be something that we'll have to run kind of when we're going to be in the area for a bit. Alright, but what we're going to do, of course, the issue with the wolves right now is during winter, of course, they climb up on the snow. So an easy solution for that is for us to make it so that snow can't pile up near our stuff. A couple different options for that. In my main world, the area around it's chiseled a little bit. But a really easy option for us, we may end up chiseling it too later on. But we can either do paths or stones or flowers, anything that basically stops snow from building up in an area. So, for example, we can toss down... Actually, let's do berry bushes around it too. But we can just surround this area with a little bit of flowers. And, you know, we can toss down some rocks and things. Like I said, we might... Later on, we might end up chiseling it. But for right now, since we are a little tight on time anyways, this will be a perfectly good solution for us. And see, flowers, they save lives. They keep chickens safe and they save lives. And this will help us get some of these cranberries trimmed back. I've got tons of the things. So many cranberries. And it's not a berry that I use too much because the saturation isn't as high on it. I don't want your bushmeat, so you can just stay right here. At some point, we're going to have to set up some pens, though, for, like, raccoons and foxes. I do have that one fox that I captured. I guess I could have captured that raccoon, but... Because I don't get them around here all that often. Strangely, with this, like, horde of berry bushes that we've got. So there we go. Now we've got that all laid out. And you can see I brought the roof out. And then at this point, all we really have to do is decorate. I'm going to let her hatch her eggs, though, because I know she's trying to get over here to them. But then, of course, we can lay out our troughs. And I'll put a few more troughs in here. And I got to run some stone path real quick. And then we're going to mix in with the grass. We're going to do some packed dirt. That way grass doesn't grow over it. And it'll look more like they've kind of rutted around, you know, and pecked around in that area. Oh, I can see frost starting to come in. Winter is upon us. The sun should be coming up soon, so we'll take a look at it in the day. Yeah, we're right at the back end of October. Great. Because it's going to start here pretty soon. It's going to start snowing. And so we are probably at this point going to throw on our winter clothes and we're going to head up to the mountains to do work up there. So I think that's the only logical thing to do. Also at this point we can step in. I'm going to be massacring these chickens soon. You know, they've been running because I've got this fox right here, but I'm not really concerned about that, to be perfectly honest. I like watching them freak out, but we're going to take all their hen boxes, and I got to make up a couple more, but that's fine. And actually, my pig and my ewe will be probably having babies fairly soon. But let's go ahead, drop out some feeding troughs. Go ahead and toss some food in these. Now, for the time being, of course, this area is not going to be like completely filled with chickens, but long term, we'll make sure that it's filled with chickens. So, oh, that's weird. It updates. Not a big deal for us. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place the ones on the corner, and I'll just have to re-chisel that oak support, I guess. That's okay. I'm going to need 4 more hen boxes. Technically, I've got one sitting out there that she's sitting on, but I'd like to just in case this updates. I don't think it'll update from the further ones. I think it's just the ones that are right up on it like that. But just in case this updates, I want to go ahead and make sure we've got all of our hen boxes placed. And then I've just got to re-chisel this real quick. Which is fine. They don't actually take that long. And then I'll have to replace these also. Got that all sorted and reconnected back up. At some point we might add some other colors. I really wish I had ebony, but yeah, honestly, if I had ebony, I don't think I'd want to use it on a chicken coop either. So this is just, and it's honestly, it's kind of accurate. We just grabbed all the cheap materials that we've got, except for kapok. It's actually sort of, for us at the moment, it's an expensive wood, but hopefully not for much longer. I mean, it's a little bit, I mean, it's boxy, but it would be boxy too. Another thing that we could do is maybe put just a little bit of stone around this, like a foundation, chisel that in, like a little bit of cobblestone. So that's something we might do, but I want to let her hatch her eggs so I can move on. That'll be generation 3, which means insta-kill with the cleaver, and then we can start breeding for generation 4. So, alright, now at this point, there's one other thing that I would like to get, and that is I'd like to make a few clay ovens. I'm going to go ahead and make 4, because why not? Since we're already going to be making them, we may as well. It's going to take a bit of fire clay, though, because I'd like to be able to make bread during the winter, because, for example, like if we take a look at rye, rye grain is only 60 saturation, whereas rye bread is 300 saturation. If we get it part baked, it's still 150, charred is 210, you know, so we can actually upgrade all of our grain. Now, granted, a lot of times we make porridge with it. We may still make some porridge, but we'll probably be moving to eating a lot of bread, because we'll start moving to basically eating a lot of bread. Bread is a really great food source, not to mention traders tend to like bread. So there we go. There is our clay oven. I'll get the rest of these made up here in just a moment, but so that we can make our very first bread. But we're going to put our very first clay oven in right here, and I've got to shape all this up. I think it would look better here, and then do a base. Alright, let's grab our firewood. We're going to go ahead and toss in 6. You can toss in layouts. I think it's 4 to 6. Or 3 to 6. 3 to 6 maybe. I think you can do the lower section. But we're going to toss in the full 6. That way it just heats up faster. Let's go ahead and light that. And get that going. And then we're going to take our spelt flour and we're going to make some spelt dough. There we go. And we got to let our temperature rise on that. Once the fire goes out, we'll know that we are good to go. But yeah, I'll have to shape all this up. That's another little chisel project. We've been doing a lot of chiseling here lately, though. Like, things are looking better. we got a bit of stuff to do. I started doing these a bit back as well, but I haven't done many of them. I think I just did that little section, and that's pretty much where it ends. But one day at a time on here. That's what it is. One day at a time. Okay, so it's heated up, and we're going to take our dough, and we're going to toss that in. We want to keep kind of an eye on it. Once you get kind of used to cooking bread, like accustomed to it, you'll kind of have a general sense of when to come back and check it, but it really doesn't take that long. And we'll start making pies as well here fairly soon. We can make those through the bread oven as well, and they're a bit better, really, than making the meals in a lot of cases. You can see it's rising. Okay, when you see it turn golden brown like that, you know this one's part baked. Actually, yeah, it says right up there, part baked. But we're waiting for it to turn just a little bit darker. Spelt's going to turn a little bit darker in color. But you can also look up there. I forget that it tells up there. There we go. We got spelt bread. We're going to grab that out, and you can see that this is 300 saturation per bread. And we can see that survival goods and treasure hunters will buy it. And it's actually, bread is an extremely good moneymaker because, you know, we have like basically storage vessels filled with flax, with rye, with spelt. And now we have flour automated. Bread is personally one of my favorite things to sell to traders because they tend to buy it, and they tend to buy multiple types at the same time. So if you have, you know, a stack of flax, a stack of spelt, a stack of rye, they're going to buy it. It does keep for 8 days, which isn't too bad. And of course, if we put it into our storage vessel, it's going to keep for longer. Yeah, 55.9 days within a storage vessel. So now bear in mind that you can cook multiple batches of bread. You can see this is still hot. You can cook multiple batches and kind of quickly make a bunch of bread. And then eventually we'll have a big bread making area where we can have multiple ovens going at once. But anyways, I know it's wrapping up point for this episode. Hey, that's something, you know, I never thought about. If you did clay and just filled it out like almost like it's carpet, you could make blue clay or fire clay carpet, and it makes a squishy sound. I never thought about that. Anyways, I know it's wrapping up point for this episode. It's about to be the very end of October. So like I said, next episode we are going to be heading up to the mountains where we're going to be doing a lot of digging throughout winter, which I'm actually really excited for. So we got a bit done down here this year, but I would always like to have more done, but we got a bit done. So but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.